Everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios, brought to you by our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson, Missing, available on Amazon, paperback and ebook, coming soon, Missing 2, double the suspense, double the fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including theories, quiz of pains, King David Psalms, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner, and the Sensei Swaying Eric Diamond with All of Me, new music coming soon. EricDimemusic.com. Follow on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and more. We're here with a terrific gentleman, who's an award-winning filmmaker, most importantly, an author, audiobook coach, producer, life coach, inspirational speaker. He's had 30 years of experience in the entertainment industry, radio, voiceover, post-production, spent 14 years at 20th Century Fox as feature project manager, and also just done some really wonderful things. 20 years as an audio's re-recording mixer, sound design, voiceover artist, narrator, music composer for many projects. And he's got a new book out, which based on experiences in the entertainment business, combining stories of valuable lessons, tools from his coaching to eliminate stress and overwhelm. The book is called Light Action You. We'll get to more about that. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Sedona, Arizona, the multi-talented author, audiobook coach, producer, life coach, and award-winning filmmaker, and the book Light Action You, the multi-talented Robert Lane. Robert, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
All right. No, I love the introduction. Thank you so much. It's good to be here, Mike.
Well, it's great to have you on board, and you got some great work to talk about. You're an author, audiobook coach, producer, life coach, inspirational speaker, and also award-winning filmmaker. We'll get to that. You spent 30 years in the entertainment business. You've been in all kinds, radio, voiceover, post-production. Spent 14 years at 20th Century Fox, 20 years in audio, and your new book is based on experiences in the entertainment business, combining stories of valuable lessons, tools from the coaching. The book is called Light Action You. Before going out, Robert, tell us how you first got started.
Well, you know what? I've always loved audio, been an audio guy. When I went to college, wanted to be in radio. So my first job, of course, was working at a radio station, doing production work, and then eventually, hosting music shows and talk shows and doing commercials and that sort of thing. It was interesting back then because I know you're a radio guy, and I'm sure you can relate.
We're all in the business. We got to start somewhere, right?
Right, right. And it was really interesting because back in the day, we had an automation system for our music, and it was the old reel-to-reel.
I remember that.
Remember that?
I worked that in the 80s, WRMN, WJKL. It's like you had to master the reel. It's like, go through like a couple of rollers. You have to get underneath the tape heads. You have to get through a couple of rollers. You had to wind it and to make a tail, and you had to follow a program. Is it heads? Is it tails? I mean, you really had to be a master at it. It's like if you can learn how to thread a reel to reel, you're in the business.
Well, I'll tell you, I think people nowadays don't realize what it was like to work with audio back then. I remember we had an intern show up once, and I was training him at the station, and we had a reel-to-reel deck, and there was a splicing block that was under the deck, and he asked, he goes, what is that? I go, it's a splicing block. He goes, what's that? I go, well, when you're editing tape, you put the tape in there, and then you cut the tape, you figure out what section that you want to, remove. And he was just shocked. You cut the tape? I said, yes.
He must have been like a digital guy, like, radio today. But I remember the whole splicing block. You impress people. It's like you wind up, you had to get it right. You cut, and then you're trying to find a spot. You cut, you put the tape out. You had to do it nice and smooth. And it sounded like, just conversation, like say that this is a great team to play for, or you say you cut out a team to play for. It'd be like, this is great to play for. It's like you really had to master that. So I had a lot of fun with the tape, and it's like, some competition in that one.
Well, it was, it was a lot of fun. And then eventually I did work for Playboy Radio for a while, and engineered their radio show. But then I eventually did some on-camera work, off-camera work, and then post-production, but still really got into the audio thing. And then I got into doing audio post for film, music composing, and that sort of thing. Though the last part of my career was at 20th Century Fox, working on the studio lot for about 14 years or so. But that was more on the corporate side of things, being a feature project manager, so overseeing the post-production work for their new releases and for their catalog of features. And that was my career up until when Disney bought Fox. That was a big acquisition that happened a few years ago. We
I
knew we would be
remember.
affected.
Yes,
Remember
yes.
that? Yeah, that was, so, the Disney lawyers came over to our department around February, March of 2020, and they made the choice for you. Either they keep you and you now work for Disney, or you're fired and see you later. So I get called down to talk to the Disney lawyers, and I'm on the first round of firings.
Oh my gosh, they didn't do any Mickey Mousing right there, I'll tell you.
No, they didn't. And so my last day was on June 30th of 2020. So I was out of a job, and we're, obviously deep into a pandemic at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting times, but I decided that I didn't want to go back to the corporate world. I've already worked 30 plus years in the entertainment business and loved it, loved it. But I felt pulled to a new direction. And so I decided that I wanted to do something with more purpose and help people. So I created Robert Lane Coaching as a career coach and life coach, and to help people navigate through any kind of work environment and really achieve true work-life balance. And so I started to do that. And then I had other people approach me and say, "Oh, man, you worked all those years in the entertainment business. You must have some stories to tell." And so I gave that some thought, and I said, maybe I will write a memoir or write a book. And that's what inspired Lights Action You. But I wanted to make it more than just sharing stories. So with each story and experience that I put in the book, I tie in a tool or technique or a life lesson so that people can get something of more value to help them. And to kind of tie that into the career and life coaching aspect. So that's what I did. Published Lights Action You, and after, of course, I did the audiobook. Got to do that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And I think that's been the big thing. I did some audiobooks before too. You put it on Amazon, and it's accessible and everything else. And all that, of course, you had some experience as well too. Maybe some of your funnier experiences when you were with 20th Century, one of the radio stations and everything. I'll throw my story out there. One time that I worked for ethnic Booker radio station up at WKTA in suburban Chicago, where I was actually running a program behind the board. And of course, with a lady that hardly spoke English, just pointed what music to play, speak, and everything. And then it was so hot in the room one day. It was like she was wearing one of those like those jackets and everything like that. It somehow got down to here and said, "Is it too hot in here?" She looked, went zipper up like that, and she turned beet red and suddenly started speaking English. So I think that's one of the bigger ones I had. I thought it was just so funny as heck. And then another one where it's like a Christmas party. It's like some guys were coming over, had a party, give you a shot to drink, and next thing you know, you're just so out of it, you couldn't even run the board. And another guy came in, do his program. He and his whole family were out of it, but we had a lot of fun just running the board, just off of vodka and schnapps and everything else. So
yeah, there were some really crazy times. Probably one of the fun memories that I have at Fox is I went to in the building that I worked in. It was actually a great building. It was one of the original sound stages, and it was the building where they had the scoring stage, which was great because you can hear them doing all the music for the film. And then upstairs where I worked, there were a lot of voiceover rooms, and one of them was the voiceover stage that The Simpsons would come in every week, the actors,
okay.
and they would record their voiceover. So one day I go to the kitchen, I'm heating up my leftover Korean food from the night before, and there's a gentleman and his friend sitting in the kitchen. And of course I recognize one of them, who was Robert Downey Jr. But we're professionals. You don't get all starstruck. So I just went in there, and I wasn't even facing him. I'm microwaving my my food, and I hear somebody say, hey, what you cooking over there?" And it was Robert Downey Jr.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, "Oh, leftover Korean food." So he stands up, he outstretches his hand, and he says, "Hi, my name is Robert." Of course, I know who it is. I go, "Really?" I go, "My name's Robert too." And he laughed, and he goes, "I'll remember that." And then he goes, oh, he goes, you like kimchi? I go, actually, no, I don't. And we get into this whole conversation about the best kimchi places in LA and all this stuff. But we had this like ridiculous conversation about Korean food. But he was like the nicest guy, and had such a great conversation with them. But just a great experience. Those actors who are really the A players, I would say, the highest percentage of them are really nice people, and that's why they are the A players, because they understand that if it wasn't for us, the fans, the general public, they wouldn't have a career.
Mm-hmm. Or especially behind the scenes with your work as well, too. With post production, voiceover, and just about everything. And of course, what really goes behind the scenes, really make things happen, like with The Simpsons and all the other programs.
Yeah, it was actually pretty exciting every week to see the Simpsons actors come in. There were times where I'd go to the commissary to get a cup of coffee in the morning, and Julie Kavner, who does Marge, is in front of me ordering, but that's her voice. So it's just funny to hear Marge Simpson ordering a coffee at the commissary.
Homer, you want yours in black?
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like. But again, all really nice people, really nice people.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, you do have a lot of experience as well, too. And of course, more into the book with Robert Lane called Lights, Action, You. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. And Eve 11 enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today, for it goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2 by Mia Molson-Zia, double the suspense, double the fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by A Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David Psalms. A Sweet Psalmist gives a new perspective of David through the Psalms he wrote, and it's the time of a shepherd and growing up, and complicate yet turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also brought by Sensei Swaying Eric Diamond, whose latest release, All of Me, featuring I got a new heartache, bring me sunshine, strike a match more on the title track. Eric's a multi-award winning artist, inducted numerous Hall of Fames. Album Entertainer of the Year will be his new CD soon. Check out Eric Diamond Music today, ericdiamondmusic.com. Also on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and more. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, 40 podcast platforms, heard in 100 countries. Take us with you on any mobile device. And also follow on Facebook, Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube, iHeart, Apple, and more. And for great gift ideas, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. Keywords, Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, Amazon.com, me and Molson-Zia. Great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We hate the amazing multi-talented veteran Robert A. Lane here on the Mike Wagner Show, author, audiobook coach, producer, life coach, inspirational speaker, and more. And you say you've been in the radio business for a while, and or talk about your love of radio first of all, and how'd you get bit by a radio bug? First of all, it's like everybody's got a radio bug story. Might went all the way back to 1982. So.
That's a really good question, because I was just drawn to it. I loved doing radio. I was the station manager at the college radio station, and I used to do silly voices, and just it was just a lot of fun. I felt that it was just a really creative outlet. And back in the day, of course, there was more creative freedom before the big corporations.
Right. Yeah. All those I don't want to mention at this time. So
So it was a lot of fun. I was just drawn to it. I really loved the not only being on air, but just the production side of it too. I felt that was really creative. And again, still today, I still do audio work as an audiobook coach and producer. I still look at it, even with editing audiobooks for authors, it's still to me a very creative thing, because you tune into how is their pacing and how is and to really make it sound fantastic, and that's still a creative aspect of it. So I just love doing it.
And I think that's great as well too. Who are your favorite GJs growing up? Also, your favorite actors and movies growing up as well?
Well, since I grew up in Los Angeles, probably the show I listened to most was Mark and Brian on KLOS. Listened to them for many years, and then once that show ended, and then when Mark Thompson came back to do radio just by himself on a different, it was the sound, I forget what their call letters were, but he did that for about a year before the station format changed. So that's who I followed. I've been a rock and roll guy, so I listen to the rock stations.
Oh yeah, we've been there, done that. So
Yep.
just about every format possible. I've done just about a lot of things. 40 years in the business, and we talked off camera about some of the things and everything, and of course, being an audiobook coach as well too. That you seem to be inspired, and maybe some of your favorite books, and or even some authors growing up.
Well, I have to say the authors that go through my audiobook coaching program, they're fantastic. A lot of authors that I've worked with have written memoirs, so they're sharing very personal stories. I also have authors who are coaches, who have a coaching program, or they're educators or teachers, or even poets, or children's book writers. It's great to have the author tell that story. And I'm a big advocate for especially nonfiction authors to narrate their own audiobook, because it's their story. Nobody on this planet can express their story the way that they can, because they lived it, they experienced it. You could have the best voiceover person in the world, but it's still their interpretation, because there are subtleties and there are nuances that the author presents that's part of their personality that, another narrator, technically they'll sound great, but from an emotional standpoint, they're going to miss the mark. So I feel it's really important for the authors to narrate their own audiobook, and they do such a great job, and they're not professional speakers, and I love that really makes me really happy and fulfilled when I hear them,
and makes your job easier too, so don't have to worry about the coaching, the pacing, diction, and voice inflections and all that. It's coming from the actual person itself who had no experience, and just let them share their story.
Right, being your true authentic self is the key. Just be your true authentic self. You don't have to try to sound like somebody else, or that's part of who your author brand is. Everything that encompasses who you are, your personality, your sense of humor, your belief systems, your habits, all of that, and your voice, that's all part of who you are, and that's what allows you to stand out in the crowd. So yeah, it's a great thing. It really is.
And I think part of it as well too, getting to the audiobook industry, voiceover industry, and I guess that's a big thing. It's just like, maybe from your perspective, how you break in. There's agencies out there, there's some companies out there, and of course, breaking in the radio, one thing, and a number of ways to get in. Maybe like, best advice and pointers. It's like, I guess you get asked the question a lot, how do I get in the business? Let's hear from you. Let's say if I ask you, how do I get in the business? How would you answer it?
Well, if you are a narrator and you're looking for narrating jobs, I would say, well, there are a couple of places, especially if you're focusing on audiobooks. You can go to ACX. ACX is under the Amazon umbrella, and that's where you get published on Audible, Amazon, and Apple. But you can also sign up as a narrator. There's another company called Findaway Voices that does audiobook narration. You can hook up with them and see if you can be a narrator through them. So there's a variety of ways to do it. Thinking outside the box really nowadays is the best way. It's not like back in the day how you'd get a job. Things are so different now.
Right. And of course, I'll tell you, I share my side of the story that I got into radio, that trying to get in a commercial station, you can't just walk in and say, hey, I like a job. They throw at you audition tapes with a classic way to go. But I managed to navigate my way being a sports producer where I actually ran the board in case there's a baseball game, football, basketball, hockey, whatever it is. It's like you be behind the board, make sure they're connected. You communicate, through the board to the announcer. You play commercials, you throw it back, and something went wrong. It's up to you to troubleshoot. I managed to navigate my way through it. And then when sports season was over, I'd say nearly 9% of the time, the station will want you back, not just doing sports, but keep you on as a fill-in of some sorts. And that's how I got in, fill in weekends, fill in holidays, or help out with remotes and everything. I managed to get in through the back way thanks to sports.
And that is the way to do it. That was the way to do it. Is that you go in there, you learn how to run the board, because that's important. You got to have those technical skills to understand how to do that. And that, you just made yourself incredibly valuable right off the bat. And then going out and doing remotes, that's another skill. You got to have a technical skill to be able to do that. But then being able to jump in as an on-air personality, and that's how it is. You get maybe it's an overnight shift, maybe it's a weekend shift, and if they like you and you're doing a great job, then you're in. So that was and that was a really enjoyable way of doing it. You really felt accomplished, each step that you took that advanced your career.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you've been it yourself too. And of course, you also wrote the book Lights, Action, You. And of course, a bit more about the book, and you covered a little bit of it. And of course, sharing stories and everything like that. And, just be inspired about the book. How'd you come up with that title, first of all, and more about the book?
Well, I had a lot of people, like I mentioned, say, you need to write a book about your experiences in the entertainment industry. So again, I formulated, just picked stories that I felt would be not only enjoyable to read, but again, that I can tie in some kind of life lesson or a technique or tool or something, for time management, how to deal with bad bosses, what do you do, about dealing with fear, dealing with confidence, dealing with stress. So I would present a situation that was my experience, and then say, here are some tools that can help you if you are dealing with something that's similar. So even though the book is about the entertainment business, it's not geared only for entertainment people. Anybody can read this book and enjoy the content and still get something out of it.
Mm-hmm. You talked about dealing with stress, dealing with bad bosses, or dealing with time management and everything. Maybe you can pick one of those and share a little story about that, and maybe a tip about it. You can pick either one: time management, bad bosses, stress, or whatever you want to talk about. Maybe a little tip that'll make someone's day.
Yeah, absolutely. In regards to, what, let's talk about fear, because fear is something that we all experience in all facets of our life. And I have a little catchphrase that I mentioned in the book to help deal with fear. And it's called face it, embrace it, purge it, replace it. 4 steps: face it, embrace it, purge it, replace it. So basically, just kind of to give you a quick overview, facing your fear basically is you acknowledge you have this fear. Maybe it's a fear of speaking. Maybe it's a fear of, it could be anything, really. So you acknowledge the fear, all right? Face it. Next is embrace it. Embrace it meaning you strip away the layers. You get down to the root cause. What is it that's making you feel this fear, this barrier? Like, again, a barrier that's stopping you from moving forward usually is a result of some kind of fear. So I say embrace as opposed to confront your fears, because confront sounds aggressive. And it's no, just embrace it and talk about it, journal about it, get it out there in the open. So you're facing it, now you're embracing it. So the next phase is to purge it. And what that means really is you're moving it aside. You understand you have this fear. Now move it aside. And now you're going to do the 4th step, which is replace it. Replace it with something positive. And what you're doing is you're changing your subconscious, your thinking. You're moving this fear aside and bringing in positivity. Now, when you purge a fear, it doesn't mean it disappears forever. It may come back. And that's natural. That's human nature. And that's okay. But now you're aware of it. So now you can say, oh, okay, that's that fear coming up. Well, let me think of, other positive things, and just kind of reprogram your subconscious. And it's a simple step to be able to deal with fear and build confidence. Because I hear a lot from the authors that I work with. Oh, I hate my voice. I don't like how I sound. And it's like, no, your voice is fantastic because that's who you are. That's what makes you you. So love, embrace your voice, have confidence. And we talk about that. And usually it is a fear.
And led you to the book called Your Book, Your Voice about that one, since you just kind of tied our way into it. So
Right. So your book, your voice is it's the name of the audiobook coaching program that I teach. And it's a 6-week program where I help the authors set up their own recording space and I send them the professional equipment and it's part of the program. It's theirs to keep. Professional mic, professional headphones, everything that they need. That's part of the program. Help them set up their recording space. And then the coaching aspect comes in teaching them how to be authentic and compelling and engaging and how to really bring out their true authentic self when they do their narration. Then the coach's hat comes off and the audio editor's hat comes on because as they record their audiobook, they're sending me their audio files. And then I sit there and I edit, clean it up, remove mouth noises or anything that I can do to clean it up. And most importantly, make sure it meets the exact specifications for publication, because if it doesn't, it's going to get rejected. So then I upload the files for them into ACX for Audible, Amazon, and Apple. So if there are any issues, I know about it. I make the adjustments. They don't have to worry about it, and they will be published correctly the first time. And when I edit in real time. I go through everything with a fine-tooth comb because you have to. You can't run it through some restoration program and go, okay, it's all done, because there are things you're going to miss. And you can't do that to your clients. You got to give them the best of the best.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And of course, that's something important as well, too. And with your book and your voice, we'll get more about how to get the books. And you being a award-winning filmmaker, I think that's something we're talking about. We'll get that, Robert Lane. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by SoundWeb Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Missing, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David and more, Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner, and Sensei Swing, Eric Dunn, with All of Me, new music coming soon, ericdunnmusic.com. We'll be back with the multi-talent Robert Lane after this time. We're back to the amazing author and audiobook coach, Robert Lane, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And not only that, you're an award-winning filmmaker, and we like to hear more about that.
Well, I decided at one point that I wanted to make a film. So I made a short film. It's actually about 25 minutes, 26 minutes long. And it's called Idol, and it's a psychological thriller. And I was working at Fox at the time. And at that time, I was helping out my aunt. My uncle had passed away. My aunt's home, she never went back to the home because she had health issues and was living in assisted living places. But my uncle was a hoarder, and the house was a disaster. So I would help clean that house. But my aunt had a doll collection, 200, 300, maybe plus porcelain dolls.
Oh, my.
And I was talking to a friend of my coworker at Fox, and he says, man, you should make a horror film with with all those dolls. So I thought about it, and I actually said, well, I don't have the production to make a Chucky movie or anything like that, but I thought, well, maybe I could make a psychological thriller. So I did, and I utilized the dolls and I created the story. And what was great about working at Fox is that I asked my boss if I can go into the audio bays to mix the film myself. And so I did. I did a stereo mix. I did a 5.1 surround mix, went in on my own time when the studio was open, and they let me do it. They didn't even charge me for it, which was great. So
nice.
And so I released this film, and it actually won Best Film at the Idaho Idaho Media Awards. That's right.
Nice.
So that was fun. It was a great experience. One of the things that I learned is that you should not try to wear too many hats.
Yeah, that's a good point. Too many people do it nowadays, thanks to social media and everything, wearing so many hats. Of course, you're working for a corporate, you're forced to wear so many hats, but that is a really good point. Try not to wear too many of them.
Yeah, and so if I ever decide to make another film, I'm going to hire more people.
That's a good thing. And in the meantime, where can we find Lights Action You, your book, your voice, and all your other works at, Robert?
You can get Lights Action You. It's up there on Amazon. There's the paperback version, the ebook version, and of course the audiobook version. You can grab that. It's there for the taking.
Okay, that sounds great. We will check that out. We're the amazing multi-talent Robert A. Lane of Lights Action You here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just a few more things. What else can we expect from you 2025 and beyond?
Well, what I've been doing in regards to the career and life coaching aspect is instead of doing coaching with people one-on-one or in group, I take that side of the business and I do speaking engagements at corporations or community events, associations, and I feel I'm able to reach more people and help more people as a speaker sharing the career and life coaching aspect. But in regards to one-on-one coaching, that's where the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program comes in, where I do coach authors through that whole process of narrating and recording their own audiobook. So that's basically what I do, and love doing it, and will continue to do it.
That's amazing. And how do authors get a hold of you if they want your services? How do they get a hold of you?
Simplest way is just to go to my website, robertlanecoaching.com. Pretty simple. robertlanecoaching.com. There's all these little buttons there that says book a call, and that's your first step, because I believe in talking to the authors in person, or at least in Zoom, or having
that's a new way to do it these days. Yes.
Right. Because you know what? I don't believe in sending somebody to a landing page and you scroll, give me your credit card. Very impersonal. Very impersonal.
Right, yeah.
I want to talk to the author. And so because we're going to work together. And I want to make sure we both resonate with each other. And if you're into it and you're ready to go, we get you enrolled, and 6 weeks later, you have your audiobook recorded.
That sounds great. And of course, the days of Zoom and everything, you also patch up a phone line as well, too. That was another skill you had to do on radio. Patch up a phone line, patch up a program. Yeah, those patch cords and everything. That was fun right there. So
oh my Lord. Yeah, there was you had that. You had was it a T1 line? I'm trying to remember, like you had these higher quality.
I think you're talking about. It's T1, or I think it's ISDN. I'm trying to think
ISDN. Yeah.
ISDN.
Right.
That was a big thing. If you had ISDN, you were in the business. So
that's right. Oh boy, have things changed.
Oh my gosh, I still remember the days of taking the RCA's quarter jacks, plug one here, plug one there, record a program on the RCA boards. Those big knobs, those big buses. Press, click. And you knew you're in business right there. So,
oh, I like to share just a quick story with you. Now, before we had a digital delay button, needed that delay button when you're doing live shows. We had the old cart machine, and I would actually build carts. I would actually pull out 7 seconds worth of tape, wind that into the cart, put it in the cart machine, and took out the tone so that it would just continuously loop. And so when you broadcast, it first went into the cart machine and then it went out. So if there was something that happened that needed to be bleeped out, you actually had to hold a button, the erase button, for 7 seconds to make sure.
Oh yeah, the old cart machines. Yes.
And that was nuts. But of course, we finally, at that radio station I was working, we finally got the digital one where it would dump, just shore it up and then eventually bring it back to that 7 second delay.
Or you just simply just turn them down, everything starts swearing, and turn it back up, or you just simply say, okay, that's up, we'll go to commercial break, and start chewing them out a little bit, give them a little business. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna be right back, and click on a PSA or so.
Yeah. But again, it was fun back in the day. And even in music, as a musician, I used to take things on tape and flip them back so I can do it in reverse and do all these other creative things. Now, of course, with Pro Tools and all these other digital audio things, it's just one click of a button. You can do those things. But back then, you had to really be creative in sound design, and you would have to create them yourself. And that was fun.
And certainly a lot of fun indeed. And of course, a lot of big things going on. And I'm sure you talk about that on your tours and everything else. And also just a couple more things. Who do you consider biggest influence in career?
In career, I think my instructors at college. Ray Wilson was the radio guy, and he was just a really brilliant man, tough teacher, but that was exactly what you need. But just a really, really great instructor. And then there was a guy named Jim Eskelson who taught the television side of things. And I got a couple of great instructors. They were very influential.
And so amazing as well. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
You know what? The best advice I can give to anybody, whether it's no matter what you do, is be your true, authentic self. Be your true, authentic self because that's who you are. And again, that's what allows you to stand out in the crowd because there's nobody else like you.
Mm-hmm. And you certainly got that right. You hit it right on the head, Robert. We're here with the amazing multi-talented Robert Lane of Lights Action You, your book, your voice here on the Mike Wagner Show. Robert, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh you back. And what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase your books and especially check out your services?
Right. Again, just go to robertlanecoaching.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Robert Lane Coaching, Facebook, Robert Lane Coaching. You can even find me on LinkedIn as well. But yeah, the website really is the best spot, robertlanecoaching.com.
All right. Well, certainly check that out. Once again, Robert, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh, have you back. We wish you all best. And Robert, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's been a pleasure.